I don't want everybody, from my perspective, I don't want everybody walking around like, oh, my ego is good. Like, no, nigga, your ego is what fucking you up right now. Your ego and your pride, you understand me, and your disillusions are what's the reason that you ain't going nowhere in your life and you don't have no success. Because you want, and why you can't work together with others and bring things into fruition, why black men can't work together because they don't know how to control their goddamn ego. You understand me? Niggas get into a collaboration
I agree with that.
And be like, no, I want to be the big dog. I want to do this. I'm this. And like, you not in real life.
Right.
You understand
right.
me? And like
I agree with that.
The big dog is the collaboration.
Right.
Not you, nigga.
So, welcome to the Man to Man podcast. We talk like God. Man to Man.
A man hopes for peace but prepares for war. In all times, in all situations. He has the ability to control his emotions and he's not afraid of confrontation. He's ready for responsibility, to be a protector and a provider. Unfortunately, I'm seeing just the opposite conversation in society. And that's why we need to have a man-to-man. Today, I'm 19 Keys, the executive producer of a new show called Man to Man. Well, we do just that. We have a man-to-man. It's kind of like having a heart-to-heart, but we have in our masculine perspective. And today, I brought men who actually have heart. Mind, soul, spirit, wisdom, intelligence, understanding, right? Just for this day, time, and age. We are of the 1% that barely exists. Society hopes that we fall, we die, but guess what? At the same time, they're begging for us every single day. So I brought you man to man, conversation between men, but also sometimes even women, to give you the perspective that the world needs to be able to tap into who you are. Two of the hosts that you will be tapped into on an everyday basis, they're going to become the favorite men in your life. Of course, before, you got your father, God, you know what I'm saying? You guys, your boyfriend and things of that nature. But beyond that, you understand me? At this moment in time of this recording, they both single at the same time. You understand me? So ladies, tap in. You got Basheer music. That's the first one that's up. You understand me? Now, this young guy, he is a spiritual activist. You understand me? He's a spiritual revolutionary. He traveled in and out of different dimensions. You understand me? He's the reason that they have the character Doctor Strange in the Marvel movies, because they focused on his hand movements, how he moved in and out of time, and the frequency that he raises through his music. This is a multi-dimensional character, better than Side Guru. You understand me? It'd make Guru sad if he hear the type of keys he's been dropping on a daily basis.
True story.
This is Basheer Music, the meditative mastermind. Next up, we have Steve Jones, one of the most formidable men to come out of St. Louis, Missouri, one of the most dangerous and treacherous streets that you could ever be a part of. From being shot multiple times to being incarcerated multiple times and having multiple cases, and each time he found a way to get back up and still be a man and take care of his responsibility. The perspective that he guides is not only one that's street, but one that's unique. He is a self-published author of 6 ways to advance your life. And what he did was he took 6 things out of his life and he gave it to you so you don't have to go through it as well. I believe that this is one of my greatest friends that I've ever had. He's a childhood friend that I've known since middle school. So he's also going to be enlighten you and share stories that I probably would never tell. This is a very strong and capable human being. And this is the reason that he's here on the Man to Man. Make sure y'all tap in and listen to all of these jewels so you don't wake up a sucker. Tap in.
100%.
Yes, sir.
It's big God energy right there.
What's happening with you brothers today?
God.
God body energy.
Hey,
Big God energy.
Yeah.
Man, it's been a lot going on in this world. It's just been crazy, man. Like, I've been scrolling down the phone, man. I keep saying some shit like that don't represent us well, man. And when I say us, I'm talking black men.
All right, so let's start with here. What is something that you've seen that was manly? What's something you seen that wasn't manly?
Okay, something that I seen that was manly was, we just come off guard with that question right there, man, because it's oversaturated with the things that's unmanly on the internet, really. So one thing that I did see that was manly though was people, when AB walked off the field, that was manly to me. Cause he ain't conform, man. He ain't bowing down, man. Like I ain't saying that no more. Like Kyrie, AB, I salute them. I'm taking my head off to them, giving them their flowers.
You said one thing.
They not bowing down to nobody, man.
Yeah, cause our shows go use.
Real talk. Yeah, that was manly.
Yeah.
He told them people how he felt,
Yeah.
and they told him, "Nah, you either do this or leave," and he left. He stood on his principles and morals, and I respect that.
Blessings. Basheer, what about you?
Blessings.
Matter of fact, let's just go with something you sing manly. Let's keep it on a positive note for now.
Something I seen manly. I mean, I was gonna say, Kyrie getting back on court and seeing how KD saluted his brother. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just continuously supporting him throughout his journey and just being supportive 100% of the fold and making sure that none of us go fold. We ain't gonna try to put no pressure on you. You understand me? In which you don't want to be put on. You understand me? So when I seen that, I'm like, yeah, that's what we need out here in these streets.
That's what's up.
So,
now I'm trying to think for myself, but I guess it got me going towards current topics and trying to figure out something that I seen was manly, right? I'm trying to think, man, because it's so much unmanly shit going on.
There's a lot of unmanly shit.
Don't be standing out like
It
that.
sucks that you
It
can't
don't.
even really
Real
pinpoint
tough.
some shit, but you can think about a whole lot of unmanly shit.
No, that's
that you
a super
see.
fact. I'm gonna come back to it. I
Yeah.
don't want to get stuck at the point.
So what do you think? What was something unmanly that you seen that recently happened?
Fresh and Fit podcast. You understand me? The way that they were dogging, talking about black women. Here's my whole thing with that perspective and, the clip that came out. Because, I got partners who I respect and rock with. And when I hear they got two shows, one daytime, one nighttime. Nighttime is they ranchy, they do all of that crap, right? And the real reality is the fact that you can have whatever perspective, you can have whatever attractions that you want to have towards whoever you want to. But the issue comes in anytime, any melanated man, because I don't care whether they not, African descendants of slavery where they was actually born here and they're American. But if you're a melanated man, any man, period, don't speak against black women. You understand me? Like, and just because you have your preference, and this is what I believe, and I know that, we got a large audience and there's a lot of black men in mixed situations. You understand me? But at the end of the day, when you speak out as a man and you glorify your preference that's other than a black woman, that's not strength. That's not manhood. Because for a black man to be with a black woman, that's man.
Absolutely.
You understand me? That's
Sure.
God body. Right? Because what do we hear from a lot of men is that they say essentially what they believe, right? And then, of course, we can go upon this subject for eternity. I'm going to just say this. There's a beautiful black woman, right now that is available in her feminine energy for you, right? If you're ready as a man. Let's just be honest. Like, there's plenty of women out there if you're ready, but that's the qualifying thing. A lot of men aren't ready to be with that God of a black woman when they meet her. You understand me? They not really tapped into themselves. They ain't healed. They got insecurities. They couldn't get women as a child. They don't want nobody to challenge them, to gently challenge them. You understand me? And make sure that they real men, so they can't handle being with a woman that treats them like a man. They need to be with a woman that treats them like a woman. You understand me? Because, I said this a long time ago, especially for those that want to have this preferential thing, right? And some people can't help it. I don't know what happened to their childhood, their lifetime, their trauma, whatever it may be, right? Number one, black women are the only women for me. You understand me? And my brothers, right? The most beautiful women on the planet Earth. You won't find a man that has made history as a leader in our culture that didn't have a black woman. You understand me? I'm talking about a strong black man. You go look at the black men that we look up, that we will build statues of. They all have black women. So it's weak for a man to open up his mouth that has a melanated mama and tell the world that he don't mess with darkies or he don't mess with black women and make fun of them. You understand me? That all he's saying is that he's not worthy of them. You understand me? And instead of making himself worthy, instead of making himself impressive in the eyes of black women, right, by actually being a black man, by actually being worthy and stand up, he goes towards Becky. He goes towards Karen. You understand me? He goes to Kathy. You understand me? Because he know that they go deal with his weakness and coddle his weakness rather than try to help guide him to his full potential. So white women is where black men go to retire when they don't want to go into their full manifestation of being gods.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You want to expound on that?
Yeah, cause I go even a little harsher. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's my belief that when a black man pursues any other woman that is outside his race, that man actually views the race of that woman, man, as God. You get what I'm saying?
Talk to him. That's interesting. You said when a man pursues a woman of another ethnic group, right? He sees that ethnic group as God.
Yes.
Why is that?
Why is that? Because he is going to have a seed that he is going to supply into that woman, and he wants to recreate that woman, right? Therefore, if he wants to have a child that does not look like him, he wants to have a child that looks like another man. You get what I'm saying?
I get that. Now,
And
what
if you
about
want
a brother that's light skinned and be like, well, we're just gonna have a light skinned child?
a brother that's light skinned and want to have a light skinned child, well,
I'm saying that like his. So I get what you said because that was powerful as hell, and like my take on what you said, because I think that I ain't heard nobody say that particularly. I heard somebody say it similar, but not the way you said it. When it comes to like picking a woman of another ethnic group, right? And what is that saying about where you come from, right? Right. And your ability to, or your desire to recreate or procreate with that woman. You understand me saying that? No, I don't want a black person. Why would I do that? I'm going to make another black person if I get another black woman. Then I want to make somebody like myself, right? But if I go and get me a Asian or a white woman, then I make someone other like myself. They will be different than me, meaning that they could be better, right? And they'll have better opportunities. So I think that that's an interesting perspective. When a man said, I want a black woman because I want to reproduce myself, then when a man will get another woman, is he saying that he don't want to reproduce himself?
right. That's exactly what he's saying, because reproduction is creation. And we all know that creation is the very power of God himself. You
Absolutely.
understand? So when God is recreating in his universe and when he's creating into the world, when anytime you have sex and you create a baby, you are using and manifesting the power of God to do so. So a lot of men, and I specifically think that men who truly really go after Caucasian women, black men who go for Caucasian women, really see the white man as still they Jesus, still they God, still they creator. So they want to keep creating their creator. You get what I'm saying? Because they was taught in their DNA for 400 plus years, slaved, whipped into beaten into understanding that, like, okay, I don't want to be a black man. I don't want to be black. I don't want to reproduce myself as a black man. I want to reproduce myself as a white man.
Yeah, because for me, that's always been my thing. Is like, I want to have a child who's just like me.
Exactly.
Like I
get
think
what
so,
I'm saying?
cool.
for every man, like you
Yeah.
wanna, like I would
Yeah.
think, right? Like as a man, I don't think it's wrong with wanting to have a son that's just like you.
Right.
So it's like I'm gonna get a woman that's complexion of my mother, so I can reproduce myself.
Right.
You understand me? Or darker, or as long as she in that same ethnic group.
Or
whatever.
my daughter. You know what I'm
You
saying?
understand me? Or a daughter, but I'm just saying as a man, when he thinks legacy, he thinks replicating himself because he never lived as a woman, right? I want to have a daughter because I think that women have such a power in this world and they're underestimated a lot. You understand me? And I think that as a man, it would change me more to have a daughter than it would be changing me to have a son.
Yeah, absolutely.
My take on it, I feel like any black man that got a platform that reach millions of people and he get on there and disrespect a black woman, I think he a sucker. There ain't no way around it because you got to think, in America, black women is the strongest woman on the planet. You know, especially with what's going on today. You know, with us, the black woman lead the family. They you know what they do to black men in America, bro. They either kill us, put us away in jail and chains, and a black woman got to come and lead. A black woman had him specifically, so you can never get on there and disrespect nobody. You know what I'm saying? That's your color and who gave birth to you. You wouldn't even be here in the first place to even say that come out your mouth. You know, if it wasn't for a black woman. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, these beings, you know, these beings, I call them beings, really. I can't even really call them men out here because Really, you talking about just beings who's walking around in vessels, just walking around in bodies and body bags, right? Because you know, it's the reason when they called us niggas, they called us the Walking Dead. You get what I'm saying? And when you looking at them shows and zombie movies and all that shit, they talking about them same ones we talking about right now. The same black men who look at they black women as, you understand me, somebody that's lower than a dog. You get what I'm saying? Like, you that Walking Dead man, if you really go, you can even say something on that caliber when your mother is the one who pushed you out of her womb.
Oh, man.
You get what I'm saying? Like, you suckers. Like, this is the type of energy that really be making me want to just go ahead and smack one of you bitch ass niggas. You get what I'm saying? Like, just smack every bitch ass nigga that say any disrespectful thing to any black woman ever in this world. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I think that energy, like being a man is protective energy. Right?
Absolutely.
So I think that it's right for black men to have protective energy. Because
100%.
we lost that energy where we check each other. Like, we really got bad in the culture at a time where people let their partners just do all kind of dog shit to women and don't say nothing. Knowing your partner wrong.
Facts.
He might have told you a story of he done did some weird, some super crazy OP out of pocket.
Yeah, it happened with me,
And
though.
there's no checking on it. You just listen to the story. And that's mostly because it's not a culture of checking each other. Like, nah, bro, that ain't cool, because everything was taught backwards. Like, that's Captain Save-Up. It's like, nah, bro, being masculine is protecting. So the moment that masculinity is villainized and it's given the propaganda of Captain Save-'em, you understand me, then you no longer want to protect women because you feel like, you understand me, that ain't manly. So society got men to think opposite of each other. But actually protecting women is the most masculine thing that you can do, because you are protecting someone that you believe that is in your charge, you understand me, and has lesser ability to protect themselves, specifically physically, but also to the taunting and the things that they deal with in society, right? Then that means that make you a man. You understand me? That's an act of manhood to stand up and protect a woman. Which
Every
also
time.
is preventative as well.
Every
to checking
time.
other men.
Every time.
You know what I'm talking about?
I would like for, you know, and I would also like to see more of our women encouraged, just, you know, more powerful representations of black men who are protectors and who are those beings in which they are actually calling upon and wishing to manifest. I would rather for our women to continuously, you know, find those beings such as ourselves, such as Steve, 19 Keys, or myself, and make sure that they continue to lift our platforms. Make sure that y'all continue to give us the voice and the other black men who are doing the work, you understand me, to make sure that they are creating the conversations, creating the environments in the universe for you, right? Just continue to build up those black men, right? And don't really focus on all these lame suckers. Don't give them the attention. Don't give them the time of day. You get what I'm saying? Because it's only you, because you know you the womb, shorty. So, yo, where you give attention to, that's where all the money flows. You understand me? So don't be, you know, come back.
Yeah, you know, I think that you know, OG culture got to come back in a sense. Well, matter of fact, I want to talk about this, right? We was watching Wu-Tang, right? In Wu-Tang, I seen something interesting in there.
Yeah.
Was it the floppy disk?
We ain't gonna go into that. I mean,
You really tried it.
Go get to it, man.
no,
Really
I
tried
seen
it.
something interesting in that. Where it's like,
He really tried.
and it reminded me of what I seen with RZA do in there. Reminded me of what I do, right? Like he had a vision to bring different elements together to create this super group, to form this group that he knew could impact and be disruptive in culture. And they trusted his vision, they listened to him, and he executed, right? And he told them, like, basically, one of the beautiful things that he did was, like, they came together with the correct principles, right? Like, when he spoke, he spoke in the name of Allah. You understand me? And he had tribe men with him that all agreed that, oh, Allah is God. So they agreed to the same God, which also agreeing to same principles, right? So they agree to the Nation of Islam, or they agree to the gods on earth, right? They agree to what's considered to be today's mathematics, right? And so it was beautiful because we don't see that. And number one, that's the blueprint, right? It's like right now in society, I know peers that if we sat down, right? But a lot of niggas be in their ego. Like, I'm a type of person, like, I know for a fact that I fathered a lot of these boys out here and gave them their platform to speak on it and kick down the door, because at a time when I created the Shifters, wasn't nobody traveling around in groups of black men and women teaching. We was doing it for free. You understand me? And, you know, but anyway, I digress to that point. When I started that, it was with the same principles that RZA had started. It was like coming together to bring a super group of consciousness together and impact the world. Same thing with BWO, right? And now, you know, and things disperse and fall for many different reasons, right? Just because a lot of men, when you really get down to it, they don't have that character to stand up to be a brother to another brother. You understand me? Character default starts to come into play. But it's the blueprint. The blueprint literally is, you know, finding 3 to 4 like minds and more if you can, and coming together and creating impact. And right now, at this very moment, you can handpick who are the leaders of the culture and be like, yo, number one question, why don't y'all work together? Right? Because you can't go in front of the world and be like, yo, we leaders of the culture, we do all these great things, I'm getting all
But
this
it ain't no
money,
unity.
we doing this, that, and it ain't no unity.
No unity.
So it's like, are y'all really what y'all think y'all are? Or are you for yourself? Because if you for the people, then you would do what's best for the people, which would be unity, right? It would be solidarity, coming together for a common cause. It would be bringing your agendas together and forming Voltron where each person has their role to play, right? And so it's like, that was beautiful because they came together under that God body circle. You understand me? It was like, nah. And that's the one thing that most of them don't have. It's like, you know, they still celebrating Christmas. They still celebrating Easter and raising their children up in that indoctrination. So it's hard to be like, yo, we about to create something radical and disruptive, and we all got to be on the same page, right? Because, and let's say that we can get tactile where everybody ain't got to do it all at once, but it's like, and people be like, bro, don't speak about this thing publicly. No, listen, God is the best of planners. You understand? We don't operate from fear. So if that's a reason that is stopping you, that ain't being a man. That's unmanly. So our lack of unity, right, most of it is from fear, and it's a weakness, right? And it's like, we've already bragged about having the cars, the clothes, you had the women, you took the trips, right? You got on different platforms, you did the most beautiful things, whatever. The only thing that's impressive now is if we come together. There is no other more impressive than that. You can make $1 million, we can make $1 billion. It's still not impressive unless y'all do it together, and you won't get respect from the rest of the world. You will always be impressive little boys.
I think the thing is, man, like, I don't know why people don't get the shit yet, but everything in the world that you do for yourself, it dies with you when it's your time. But everything that you do for others, the way you impact them, it will live forever. You know what I'm saying? So it should be to a point where everybody know, like, your impact is everything.
Right, but why you think it's so hard to collaborate with other black men?
Because a lot of these niggas out here living through their ego. They getting money, they getting attention, and they think like, oh, well, this is what they like because they getting all the attention for, you know, all the flashy shit, you know. And nobody's sitting down tapping into their soul, or, you know what I'm saying, really being logical about it all, you know what I'm saying? They just want the attention and the fame, bro, you know? They don't want to help nobody else. They feel like they made it already and they comfortable.
Right. I mean, I would say that's living through material, not the ego. I don't want to blame the ego for that.
But the ego is what makes you want material.
Yeah.
Material and ego, they connected.
That's connected.
Not necessarily
That's how
true.
they swag. That's what they call swag, yeah.
No, the shadow.
All right, so what is ego to you first? Because we might have different perspectives.
Ego to me is the cousin of willpower. It's the cousin of willpower. Mm-hmm. So your ego is like the card to your will. So whatever you want to will into existence, you understand me, whatever your purpose is in this universe, that purpose is something that's finite, that you will hear, that you will instill, that's instilled in your soul. The ego is the driver's seat. You understand me? It's like the car. It's what forces. It's what keeps you motivated. It's what keeps your consciousness from being overturned by other people and from being deterred from your path. Now, what ends up happening is
that what it is or what it does?
Well, no, that's what it is.
So, your definition or description of ego is, in your way, is this ability to always be yourself in the face of others trying to drive in uncertainty and utilize it as a catalyst to bring things into fruition.
Right. So it's like,
okay, so your definition
like,
is different than
like for an example, you know how in that movie King Richard, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know how when Serena, what was her name? What was the other sister? Venus, right? She was doing an interview and she was confident, right? Now, in reality, because she has built up her reps, she did what she got to do, she tapped in, she has this ego to where it's like, and that's just pure confidence. You understand me?
But that's not ego though.
But in a way it is, because your ego you can never not have an ego as long as you live.
So like, all right, so let me explain what I think ego is then, because I can't tell you what you think ego is. I can only
right.
You know what I mean? It's a cipher, right? So like for me, confidence is the ability to hold on to truth. That's my definition of confidence, right? So like in that moment of that interview, it was confidence because she confided in all of her moments of training and in her self-belief. You understand me? And it was real to her because everything that she was doing made it real, right? So ego can be false belief, right? Because a person can have an ego as if they are deserving or they have earned what they haven't, or that they are what they haven't trained to be or worked to become, right? So it's like a person could be like, well, I think more people like me, therefore, and they're in a group, I should get paid more. And that could be an ego talking to you and telling you a disbelief. That's not, a false reality. Where it's like, you trying to get paid off your ego, like, ain't nobody fucking with you. You know what I'm saying? Where the truth would be like, all right, let's look at the numbers of it and be like, all right, the truth would be like, let's look at the numbers, who bring it in, then you get paid off that. Then that's not ego, right? Because then a person be like, I ain't operating from ego, I know who I am. But from the way you perspective, I understand the aspect, everybody got ego, right? So ego can be very useful, but you supposed to control it, but the moment it controls you, then it turns on you because it becomes something that you use into something that you're being used by, and that you're protecting it, right? Instead of it used as a tool to protect you in circumstances.
Right. To go into further to my understanding and my belief about it is that, again, we all have egos. And like you said, if it runs you, then it becomes a cancer. It's like all things in this universe. Same way as if material runs you, it becomes a cancer. If you eat too much bad foods and things of that nature, it becomes a cancer. The ego, you are born with it. You understand me? So, but I have realized that.
But it can't be no ego in collaboration.
But let me explain. I'll let you explain. So I realized that in this world, right, certain things that we come born with that are actually divine, and they understand it, and a connection, and how they're built, and how God already implanted the seeds into our being, right? Because we grew up in a world that was so chaotic and so misconstrued and so, and because we have the English language, so many words mean so many different things and so many different interpretations, right? Things have been taken out of context. In reality, when somebody is daydreaming and when somebody is fantasizing and they're actually coming to somebody with a fantasy like, oh, I think I deserve this, that's really just a fantasy. It's not the ego. You understand me? That's illusion. That's disillusion. That's not the ego. You get what I'm saying? The ego is the character. Egos are characters that you play. You understand me? In certain different times of your life, you tap into a different mode. This is my ego. You understand me? When you are an actor, same for an example like Denzel, right? When he tapping into different characters, when he got to play different roles, he got to tap into a whole different ego.
Absolutely.
You understand me?
So basically, it all boils down to you being aware.
Right.
Your
It
awareness, your
boils
depth
down
of
to
awareness.
awareness
So that's
and
why-
understanding and
so-
character. Now, what's most important in this realm in collaboration is the character. And I feel like what we were just talking about, it was like, well, what's the solution to all these problems is how do we train up men to have better character and judgment?
Now, when it comes to the ego thing, this is what I created, right, as one of my concepts. It's ego is going to always want to be I. Ego always come back to I, right? Ego is not a we thing, right?
It's the I am.
That's what I'm saying. So ego is about I, right? So ego is saying that I deserve this, I did this, I did this. It's always reminding you, a self-looping I to you. So it destroys collaboration because it becomes about you rather than the we. So the one thing I know is that like ego death is something they say a master Buddhist would get to and all of that. But you understand me? We gonna talk about reality is that a person not about to destroy 100% of their ego. You can't live without it. You understand me? And so when it comes to collaboration, the concept was more so about if you can take it and make it work for you and work for the group. So instead of it becoming the ego and it's about where I do, where I go, it becomes the we go. So where you point that energy and the ego is about us bragging about, less about what I do, now we bragging about how we do it, right? So now you taking that energy and saying that my new ego is that I can work together with others. And a lot of people can't do this. My new ego is, I bet you I won't quit on this. I bet you I'm going to always have great character with this. I bet you I'm going to do this. So it's like you're using it as a positive weapon pointed in the direction of the collective vision and the goal, right? So it's like transforming that ego to that we go. Whatever we do, now the new brag is about the we. We put that W on there so that we all win together and build wealth. And so it's a different transition, and I think that helps because it's harder to, it's like in a world, if the ego is a weapon you use, you don't want to get rid of your weapon because the world is still dangerous. So instead, you just learn to shoot it at a different target so it's useful in a positive manner. You understand me? And so it's like ego to we go is how we go and how we rule.
I agree with the we go, but I disagree with the understanding that the ego is I deserve, no, the ego is I am. It is I am God, I am consciousness.
Everybody don't say I am
love,
God, I am consciousness.
I am truth, but in the most healed version of what
right,
the ego
but we talking
is.
about the world version.
Right, but
niggas use their ego.
Right.
I don't know niggas in the hood that's walking around saying,
Let me speak. No. But this is a man-to-man podcast, so we giving people how they should view it.
No,
you understand
me? We also giving
and how
them
they
how
should
it
understand
too,
it. Not they. We know. Yeah, you just did that, but I'm about to give them how it should be.
But you said you disagree, but it's not a disagreement when it's a reality. In
No,
the fact that
no.
most people ego
Listen
ain't about.
to me.
Hold on, no, listen.
Listen
most
to me.
people
I just listened to you.
Hold on, no, I'm explaining. Most people
I
ego
couldn't
ain't.
explain it.
Listen, most people ego ain't the I am.
Right. So
Right?
let me explain it.
Most people ego not the I am. I'm asking you, right? Most people ego not the I am. It's not
No.
the godliness. Otherwise, we
It's
wouldn't have
not
an issue.
But I'm explaining like what is truly the ego is, so people actually know what it is.
Well, I mean, what I said was ego, and what you said was just perspective, different degrees of
No,
it.
well, but no,
Right?
you said that the ego is I deserve,
That's
you know
what
I'm
the
saying?
ego does.
That's
a characteristic of
that
ego
is
too.
an example of when someone has a toxic understanding of life.
Well, that's
You
just a
understand
person ego working without knowledge of self.
That's not the ego. The ego again is from a divine source. Anything that God's create is all divine. It's all about angle and how you are perceiving reality.
It's still ego, whether you consider it to
understand
be
me?
divine or not. Man and woman are divine, but yet we can become
At
corrupted.
the end of the day, ego is the reason why we in our own vessels, while we have our own understanding about life, while we able to have a conversation and be able to do a podcast.
Nah,
If
but
I
the whole point
was
But if you can't
control your ego. Yes.
then you don't have
Control
power.
it.
right,
Just
you
control.
So
understand me?
when I'm
So-
and for a person, I need them to be aware. I don't want everybody, from my perspective, I don't want everybody walking around like, oh, my ego is good. Like, no, nigga, your ego is what fucking you up right now. Your ego and your pride, you understand me, and your disillusions are what's the reason that you ain't going nowhere in your life and you don't have no success. Because you want, and why you can't work together with others and bring things into fruition, why black men can't work together because they don't know how to control their goddamn ego. You understand me?
Now,
Niggas
I'm
get into
saying,
a collaboration
I
in
agree
a
with that.
business and be like, no, I want to be the big dog. I want to do this. I'm this. And like, you not in real life.
Right.
You understand me?
Right.
And like
I agree with that.
The big dog is the collaboration.
Right.
Not you, nigga.
So I agree with
Straight up.
with that understanding, because a lot of these niggas don't have any type of connection to who they are. You understand me? But this is why the further we go into these conversations, then we get to break down exactly the beauty of what it is that we both talking about. You understand me? So again, the most healed version of when a man is in his full understanding of what his ego is, he realizes that I am God. I am the qualities of God. I am the 100 attributes of God. You understand me? I am Aziz, I am Taqwil, I am Khalid, all of those different attributes that represent being the honorable, being of family-oriented, being of truth, being of justice and equality. All these different things come from when a man understands the I am, and that is when you have a healthy integration with your shadow self and your being. You understand? So, but you are 100% correct. When we grow up in these hoods, we grow up in these environments, and we grow up in these unstable households that teaches the young black man how to be a beast, and his ego is that of a beast. You understand me?
Lord,
And he don't know, and then that's when he's prideful. Then that's when he's picking up a gun instead of actually, you know, hold on, let's have a conversation and see how we can reprimand this situation.
See, now I'm gonna have to disagree with that, because a lot of people in the streets, right? I've been in the streets, like real deep into the streets, right? Sometimes we be reacting to other people's egos. You gotta, when you moving around in the streets, you gotta think like the other niggas out there thinking. Like if you out there selling drugs, you might not be one of the shooters or killers, but you know, like, man, somebody's gonna try to trap me.
Yeah.
So you gotta operate you gotta think, put yourself in their shoes, how these niggas thinking off their ego. And these niggas, they jealous. They'll try to harm you out here. So you gotta move around with a firearm now. Now you just going through more trauma because your environment. So a lot of people be reacting to other people's egos. You know
Right, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
And, but also that can be a trap too, though.
Yeah.
Because the trap of that is that creates the cycle, right?
Yeah.
One nigga go out there, poison the rest, and everybody else decides that, well, I need poison as well. I need my poison to make sure it gets him before he get me, right? So his ego make you tap into the wrong aspects of yours, right? And then both of y'all egos are controlling yourselves because both of y'all are being reactionary by your environment.
Right.
And that's why, like, as men, you know, growing up in Nation Islam, growing up through the Islam, FOI training, right? And you know, the story goes like this, right? Every Monday night, right, when we was younger, had to go to FOI training. I remember going up. I used to, sometimes I used to hate doing it because it'd be after school, it'd be late. Sometimes they didn't start till like 7, 8 o'clock. We walk up to the bakery, we'd drive out, we had to put on suit and tie, you understand me, a white shirt, pants, slacks, right, dress shoes, go in there. And it was at this bakery, and the bakery, it smelled, you know what I'm saying, the sweet aroma of bread, you understand me, and other sweets and stuff. And you walk up into these doors, you get to the first door of the bakery, then there's the second door. The second door is these big doors that you can't get in, and there's this brother on the other end, brother I'm talking about mean looking brother, like he one of them Star Wars characters, you understand me? And you understand me, they look at you, check, make sure they know who you are, you feel me, then they unlatch it, let you in. You understand me? Search you down, make sure you ain't got no weapons, contrabands, and things of that nature on you. Let you in. You got to go either, if they drilling already, they got to let you in the ranks to go drill and things of that nature, right? And then there was a whole training session where men learn business, spirituality, all of these different functions, right? And inside that, the training that we got and the training that is given in the Nation of Islam of manhood development is so key. And when we go in there, get our training, and then when we walked out, our goal was to be the opposite of our environments, right? Meaning that I'm no longer the reaction of the ego. I'm the interaction, you understand me, of this whole ecosystem. I'm the change. So when they see a black man, our goal was to be opposite attracts. Why is this brother shining? You understand me? Fresh cut, got a suit on. he can't be from here. I know he's not into what I'm into, right? So automatically, it forces you to treat that brother a little different because I know that's not my enemy. That was the goal. Like, that got to be my brother. He's not dressed or acting like my enemy. He don't eat like my enemy. He don't talk like my enemy because he don't talk like me. And most niggas in the hood, they enemy is themselves. So when they see their brother, they see their enemy. You understand me?
You could never have too much gold. Tap in.